folks? This is Jacoby Guyton coming to you from my humble abode. Got my computer. This is my speaker that I listen loud and clear to different inner circles, different leaders that I listen to every day. Got my notebook here that I take my notes in, and I have a book that I'm reading by the name of Bounce right now. I'm almost done with it. It's been taking me a little bit long because getting caught up in my daily activities, my money making activities. But you should read every day for at least an hour. Today I want to come to you and talk to you about something me and my dad was talking about at dinner this past weekend. And it really stuck out to me like a sore thumb because it put things in perspective for me. My dad, we were at dinner and we were just talking, and my dad likes to do a lot of talk philosophy. He talks about the Bible a lot, common sense, just life situations as well. And he was telling us, it was me, my mom, my uncle, my fiance, and my two kids. And he told me, he said, Jacoby, he said, do you know it's easier to do right than it is to do wrong? And I thought about it and I said, Dad, well, nowadays it's easier to do wrong than right. I said, because doing wrong, the payout is quicker, depending on what you're doing. I said, doing wrong, I can get money today. He said, yeah, but it won't last. I said, I understand that, but people who do wrong, they're not looking for it to last. They're looking for money today, for right now. They're not looking for money down the road. They worry about down the road when they face down the road. And it really hit home to me because last year I had an artist by the name of Fatty Duke. And I could talk about Fatty Duke now because, he's unfortunately in a situation to where he's fighting for his life in prison right now. And it's not a thing to take lightly because he was doing right. We had a record called Boomin' featuring Gucci Mane last year. And right now it's over 100,000 views on YouTube. And you should check it out. It's a pretty good video. But his past caught up with him. He was doing good, but the bad that he had done caught up with him. And now it caused a tremendous situation, not only for him, but for his family too. And that led me to understand that I wanted to run my record label this year, Global Power Music Group, legitimately. And when we were talking, me and my dad was talking at dinner, and when he was telling me about right and wrong, and I was like, but Dad, it's in this economy, the way that things are, sometimes it's tough to do right. Sometimes it's tough to do right. And I tend to think at it as me doing right means me giving and helping people. Me doing right means me aiding in somebody else's dreams come true. So that's where I look at right and wrong. If it was for self, to me that would be wrong. But since it's for others and for family, to me that's right. So I told my dad, I said, now I made a choice to do right. because I don't want to deal with the consequences of doing wrong. See, doing right comes consequences too. Doing right comes pain, agony, adversity, obstacles. These things take a toll on you, on your body, and your mind. See, and this is what I can relate to because growing up, I was a pretty good athlete. I was a two-time state champion in high school. I then went on to wrestle collegiate for a couple of years, and before I was done with it. School wasn't for me. I was tired with the whole, getting up, going to wrestling practice, going to class, and that was the whole routine situation. So that was the turn of my life for me to start my life. And coming from a middle class family where you've seen your mother and father put in the work and you've seen that you got what you got out of it, but you never had to put your foot and stand in those trenches. And that was the eye opener. That was the eye opener for me. That's when I knew I had to utilize what I learned in wrestling. See, wrestling builds you up for life. And if you're watching this video and you have any kids, male or female, I would encourage you to put them in wrestling, at least youth wrestling, because it's a team sport and an individual sport. See, it's a team sport in practice where everybody push you and push you. But once you stand on that line, in the center of that circle, and you shake hands and you and your opponent, that becomes that individual sport. That becomes that push. That becomes that adversity. That becomes that persistence and consistency. And can you take your body through a state of exhaustion and still stay mentally tough? That's what wrestling is. Wrestling is not a glorified sport, although they have MMA now, where they can get, you can get paid a decent amount of, money and make a living and everything else like that, but it's still not a glorified sport like a football or a baseball or basketball or hockey. And I'm upset to hear that the Olympics is now taking away wrestling, and wrestling was one of the core sports when the Olympics was there, so when the Olympics started. So I'm kind of upset about that, but at the same time, I understand the Olympics evolve. I understand they want to make it entertaining, although I don't believe they gave the sport of wrestling a chance to be entertaining because they were playing it on different odds and different odd hours of the day. But that's neither here nor there. And I don't want to get too far from the subject. But when I hit rock bottom, I had to dig deep, because with me digging deep, because I wanted to give up. I didn't want to go on and live. I was in Orlando, Florida. I was by myself. I was drinking. I was, ready to just take myself out. It didn't seem like I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't have a future, although my future looked promising growing up. But see, these are the dark times that people don't see. These are the things and the adversity that people don't see. So when you continue to persist and you continue to march forward, no matter what happens, that's a true champion. That's a true winner. That's a true winner. And that's doing the right thing. And that's doing the right thing. That's making a decision to do better. And no matter what, you're going to gain the results that you're looking to gain. That's called persistence. And I know you hear me say persistence, adversity, and consistency a lot right here in this video, but those are main characteristics a leader, of a leader. So when I was talking to my dad, he was talking about right and wrong and easier to do right than wrong. And I was like, let me rephrase that for you. I said, it takes just as much energy to do wrong as it does to do right. Because it's a roller coaster, mental roller coaster, either way you look at it. Whether you're in the streets selling dope, what have you, that's a mental roller coaster. That's a cat and mouse game. Whether you're building a business online to better your family and better your life, you know what you need. But how are you going to get there? It's a game. So that's where it equates and becomes equal. And so he added, he said, taking wisdom from a fool turns the person that's listening into a fool. And I said, you know what, Dad? I can't agree with you more. I agree with that statement. I said, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I said, and that's why we have to position ourselves to listen to successful leaders, powerful leaders, who set examples of how to be a powerful leader. Because being a leader, you first have to be able to follow. And sometimes, and most of the times, you have to be able to copycat. You have to be able to mimic that person. Sometimes they say how to talk, the personality. You know, you can be yourself, but at the same time, try this or try that. See, me, I just had to make a decision. Because going through all that adversity and coming through, I had a strong family background, and I had a strong support in my fiance and my kids. I went through 4 years without making one dime. 4 years. 4 years. I got fired from my last job at Chase, and then I was chasing my dreams with the music. But see, when I was building the music, the business wasn't being ran right. But I couldn't really focus on the music business because I had to focus on the artists at hand and making sure they're doing the things that they needed to be doing. But then when I looked at it, the finances we needed. So all in all, I looked at it and I said, listen, I need $100,000 to push one artist. How am I going to get this $100,000? Even if I worked a 9-to-5 job and made $100,000, they're not going to give it to me at one time. Plus, they're going to take taxes out. They don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year. So, how else could I have done it? I could have went to the streets and made $100,000 and did wrong. Or build a business on the internet and do right. And I tried the internet business for a couple years. The first 90 days, I quit because it was overwhelming. It was too much. It was like, but this is doing right, remember? This is doing right. It was too much. And instead of me taking it step by step, I tried to digest it all the way at one time whole. What ended up making me quit. Which ended up making me a failure. But then I went back to the internet. After I went through my spell of being down, let down, fired, You know, the music wasn't going right, couldn't come up with the money. Artists wasn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I had to take a time out and said that there's money in the internet. I'm looking at jobs offline, closing, and making money online. So this is where I had to make that decision to really get involved, stay focused, and never give up. I joined this business, and in 60 days, I started making money. First time ever online. First time ever. Within 60 days. And they give you a 90-day window. You know, they do this, follow these steps, this, that, and the other, 90 days. You'll be making money. Voila. In 60 days, I made money with this business. So I have to give kudos to not only the business, but my family for believing in me, because my fiance was my investor. I didn't have a dime. I just told you I didn't make money in I hadn't made money in 4 years. 4. So as a man, you feel a certain kind of way. It doesn't feel good. Because you know you should be doing better. You should be providing a better life for your family. You are the provider. So, joining this business, and when I started making money in those 60 days, and I said, okay, it's not where I want to be, but it's a start. So I kept going, and kept going, and kept going, and kept going. My business started to grow, and grow, and grow, and grow. And then I hit a wall, which was adversity. Again, this is doing right. As soon as I hit adversity, I kept going with persistence. And I was always consistent with it. So, the moral of the story here is doing right, it is a long path. It takes some time. But as long as you're willing to go through the rough times, prosperity is ahead. Freedom is ahead. At the beginning of anything, it's going to be rough. But as long as you stick to it, stick to your plan. Don't flip-flop. Stick to your plan. And I guarantee you're going to see the outcome that you're looking for. I promise you that. There's no disclaimer on that. As long as you never quit, I promise you, you will see the outcome that you're looking for. May of this year, I will be signing the paperwork for Global Power Music Group, my own label. June of this year, we will be launching with the first artist of one site. Things can come to fruition as long as you position yourself and make the decision to do the right thing. Because even though the wrong thing can be easier, the consequences are different. And once that sheet is pulled back and the wrong thing is exposed, are you going to be able to answer those questions? Do you really want to be the one answering those questions? See, and that's what made me make the decision that I made. And I challenge you to make the same decision that I made. But I challenge you to focus, be persistent, and be consistent, and never quit. And I can promise you, you're going to get the freedom, you're going to get the finances, and you're going to have the prosperity that you've always been looking for. Click the link below and lock arms with me in this journey to help others fulfill the dreams that they've always wanted to live. See, we say we want to do certain things, but we're not willing to put in the work. So if you're willing to put in the work, and I mean, it's a short amount of time, but even when you get where you want to go, you keep going. Don't stop. You keep going. Especially when you found something that works. And that's what I'm going to reveal to you today. Something that works. Something that changed my life. Something that put a foundation up under my family's feet. And something that I could really feel good about. And I haven't been able to do that for a long time in my life. So if you're ready to take that next step, and if you're ready to take the challenges that's in front of you for making the right decision, and you're ready to go through it, click the link below, because I'm ready to help you get through it. Click that link below. You will not be alone. You are joining a community of soldiers that are out here wanting to help change people's lives. So I challenge you to jump right in, feet first and face forward. And get all in. Because once you get to where you want to go, I now put another challenge to help others that want to get to where you're at. Let's lock arms. Click the link below. Get all in. This is Jacoby Guyton from Tampa, Florida. Love, peace, and prosperity. Talk to you.
Yeah, I believe in me.